All right, Shalom Israel. This Israelite School of UPK start out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York. And a Commander General Yohana. I'm Natazab, officer of 500. And tonight is a Thursday, supposed to be scripture breakdown class, but it's a special occasion. This is a high holy day for a memorial, really, for a sister called Esther. You know what I'm saying? Well, this holy day is the Feast of Purim. You understand? So we're going to get into the memorial of Esther and our ancestors. And it's a great story for Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indian women to read over and to recognize, because not only was this sister righteous in her captivity, but she is a prime reason of why so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indians didn't get exterminated. You know what I'm saying? We didn't get killed off in our Babylonian captivity. You understand? So this is an excellent story to have and read about. You understand? This was a great sister. You understand? And we're going to see what type of spirit she had. You understand? And we're going to see how she followed orders. You understand how sisterhood and brotherhood are synonymous. You understand? She didn't think she was better than her people because she was considered queen. And, I don't want to spoil the story, but we're going to get into it, man. This is a great story. So we're going to start at Esther chapter 1, verse 1. And it said, now it came to pass in the days of Ahasuerus, this is Ahasuerus, which reigned from India even to Ethiopia over 107 and 20 provinces. So anybody know who Ahasuerus is? You know what I'm saying? Ahasuerus, if you ever seen the movie 300, Ahasuerus was Xerxes. So I'm pretty sure everybody's seen the movie 300. Ahasuerus was Xerxes. So what side, where was we at during that time? At the time of Ahasuerus and Xerxes. You understand? Because, a lot of people like to say that we was the 300. You know what I'm saying? We was the people that was fighting against Xerxes, and we was the 300. You understand? But when you understand history, you understand the Bible, we wasn't the 300 at all. You understand? We was the slaves that was slaves to Xerxes or Ahasuerus. We was his slaves. You know what I'm saying? When you see him get down off that elephant, he's stepping on them people back. You know what I'm saying? Or you see them going to war, and you see all them slaves and all them people rowing them boats. You know what I'm saying? That was so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indian. You understand? We was in servitude. We was in captivity under Xerxes. You know what I'm saying? The Babylonian Empire. And Xerxes, if you don't know, he was considered under the Persians, he was considered an East Indian. He would be a modern day East Indian today. All right. So it said, now it came to pass in the days of Ahasuerus. This is Ahasuerus, which reigned from India even to Ethiopia over 127 provinces. So he had a mighty kingdom. He ruled all the way from Ethiopia, you understand, all the way to India and everything in between. So he had a big kingdom, right? Verse 2, that in those days when the king Ahasuerus sat on the throne of his kingdom, which was in Shushan, the palace, in the verse 3, in the third year of his reign, he made a feast unto all his princes and servants, the power of Persia and Media, the nobles and princes of the provinces being before him. So you understand, during his reign, he threw a big party. You understand? He threw a big party because he ruled everything that you can rule. So he threw a big party, right? Verse 4, when he showed the riches of his glorious kingdom and the honor of his excellent majesty many days, even 104 days. So this dude, this heathen, this East Indian threw a party for 4 days. So he threw like a like what you call like a 6-month party. You know what I'm saying? This party was like a 6-month party when they just party and man just having fun because he ruled the whole known world, right? Verse 4. You see. Oh yeah, let me read it again. And he showed the riches of his glorious kingdom and the honor of his excellent majesty many days, even 104 days. Yeah, so man, he threw a big party You know what I'm saying? For a whole 6 months to show how powerful he was, how wealthy he was. You know what I'm saying? To show how much land he owned and how many provinces he was set over. You understand that he conquered. Verse 5. And when these days were expired, the king made a feast unto all the people that were present in Shushan, the palace, both unto great and small, 7 days in the court of the garden of the king's palace. Okay, so after that, he threw a party for 7 days. You know what I'm saying? So they just party and having as much fun as they can, right? So let's drop that and then let's go to verse 9. Verse 9. Also, Vashi, let me see. Yeah, yeah. Also, Vashi, the queen, made a feast for the women in the royal house, which belonged to King Xerxes. So you know how women is. You had King Xerxes who threw a party for a month. I mean, for 6 months and 7 days, and you know he got his wife who her name was called Vashti, and she decided, you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna throw a party for the women. You got the party for the men. You know what I'm saying? Just like today, you know what I'm saying? You throw a party, a football party or something, you're going to have the women going to do whatever they do. Or you throw a bachelor party or something, you're going to have the men doing what they're doing, and you're going to have the women doing whatever the hell they doing. You know what I'm saying? So that's what she did. All right. It said, also Vashti, the queen, made a feast for the women in the royal house, which belonged to King Xerxes. Verse 10. On the 7th day, when the heart of the king was merry with wine, he commanded Mahaman, Bistha, Harbana, Bigtha, Abatha, Zertha, and Carcass, the 7 chamberlains that served in the presence of Xerxes the king, to bring Vashti the queen before the king with the royal crown, to show the people and the princes her beauty, for she was fair to look upon. So as they throwing this big party, you know what I'm saying, for 6 months and 7 days, you know what I'm saying, he's throwing this big party, he's showing his wealth and his glory and how he control all these lands. He'll set up over all these lands, and he got the children of Israel as slaves. He's celebrating all these things, right? In the midst of him celebrating, he told his chamberlains, he told his servants to, man, go get my queen Vashti. You know what I'm saying? Tell her I said to come here. You know what I'm saying? Why was he doing that? Why did he want his wife to come here? It's that he wanted his wife to come because it said that she was beautiful to look upon. She was beautiful. You know what I'm saying? He wanted to show her off. He wanted to show everybody, look, not only am I rich and I'm over all these kingdoms, but guess what? My wife is beautiful. You understand? My wife is beautiful. He saved the last for the best. You understand? So he wanted to show her off. It said, for she was fair to look upon. She was bad. Verse 12. But the queen Vashti refused to come at the king's commandment by his chamberlains. So she was like, man, I refuse. I'm not coming in there with all the men. You understand? You ain't finna show me off. I'm finna stay where I'm at and have fun with my female friends and who I'm having fun with. And then verse 12. But the queen Vashti refused to come at the king's commandment by his chamberlains. Therefore was the king very wroth, and his anger burned in him. So the king, he was embarrassed. You understand? He was mad as hell. He was embarrassed. Like, man, it's supposed to be an honor that I'm telling you to come in here. You know, so I'm the king. I'll run all this. It's supposed to be an honor that I'm telling you to come here, then so I can show you off. And you gonna embarrass me and say you not coming? Okay, no sweat. For sure, it's good. You know what I'm saying? So verse 13. Then the king said unto the wise men, which knew the times, for so was the king's manner toward all that knew law and judgment. Verse 14. Let's say verse 14. And the next unto him was Karshina, Shethra, Admatha, Tarshish, Meres, Marcina, and Memucan, the 7 princes of Persia and Media, which saw the king's face, and which sat the first in the kingdom. You know what I'm saying? So he had 7 princes that knew their law, knew their judgment, and they was looking at his face, and they was like, oh man, he felt very disrespected that she didn't come when he said to come. That she just decided that she's not going to listen to him in front of all these people. You know what I'm saying? In front of all these people, she decided that I'm not going to listen. I refuse to listen to you. I'm going to do what I want to do. Right? So let's go to verse 15. What shall we do into the queen Vashti according to law? And so they asking him, what shall we do to Vashti according to the queen, according to the law? And then I'm keep reading. Because she have not performed the commandments of the king Xerxes, Ahasuerus, by the chamberlains. So he said, what should, according to our law, what should we do her? Because she ain't listen to you. When you sent your servants, your chamberlains out there to get her and bring her to you so you can show her off, she didn't listen to you. And guess what? Everybody seen that. Everybody seen that she just decided that she was gonna do what she wanted to do, right? So let's go to let's keep reading 16. And Memucan answered before the king and the princes, Vashti the queen has not done wrong to the king only, but also to all the princes and to all the people that are in the provinces of King Xerxes. Ahasuerus. So he said that not only she didn't disrespect you. He like, man, Salakia King. She didn't disrespect you, but she disrespected everybody. That she disrespected everybody that's seen that, especially us that got power and we princes. She disrespected everybody. And why is they saying that? You understand? Why are they saying that she disrespected everybody? They saying that she disrespected everybody because their wives, you gotta remember, they having a party and she in there with other women. Their wives is in there with her. So when they seen her disrespect the king, this ain't just some regular dude. She with the king. So if the king can't run his woman, you understand, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. So that they know that they women with her. So guess what they women gonna do? They women not gonna listen to them. Because guess what? She don't listen to the king. Why I gotta listen to you? You ain't even the king. So that's why they said that she didn't just disrespect you, she disrespected all of us, man. Because our wives gonna follow her. You understand? They're gonna disrespect us like she disrespected you. So I'm gonna keep reading. It said, for this deed of the queen shall come, let me see. Yeah, verse 17. For this deed of the queen shall come abroad unto all women. You see that? It said what she did, it's gonna come abroad to all women. They all gonna try to be like that. You understand? They all gonna try to be like that. So that they shall despise their husbands in their eyes. You see that? I'm gonna read that again. It says, so they shall despise their husband in their eyes. So guess what? You black, Hispanic, and then American Indian woman, when you decide that you don't want to listen to your man, you know what I'm saying? What do it say? They despise their husband in their eyes. You despise your husband in your eyes. You got to remember too, this ain't even Israelites right here. These is all heathens. Even they understood this, man. Even they understood this. When you don't want to listen to your husband, you despise him, man. You understand? When you don't want to obey with the order that your husband told you, you despise, because it ain't like he telling you do something wrong. It ain't like he telling you to go have a threesome with somebody. It ain't like he telling you to, you know what I'm saying, do something unlawful. You know what I'm saying? He telling you something right. He telling you to listen for a reason. And if you decide that you don't want to listen to your husband for whatever reason, guess what you do? Despise their husband in their eyes. You say you despise your husband, man. You understand? I'm going to keep reading. When it shall be reported, the king Xerxes commanded Vashti the queen to be brought in before him, but she came not. Man, she came not. She didn't want to listen to him. You know why? Because she despised him. That's what it just said. And this is the thing. This is what they knew. They knew that if you don't fix this problem, you know what I'm saying, it's gonna be a chain reaction. That's basically what they're saying. They said if we don't make an example out of her, out of your queen, it's gonna have a chain reaction, and it's gonna go down from the king's house and it's gonna seep all the way into our neighborhoods and into all the way into our communities. That's one of the reasons why the black community is destroyed right now, because we didn't stop it at the head, man. You understand? We allowed the grandparents, the grandmothers handed it down to their children handed down their children, and to where now in 2021 we got hot girl summers and only fan pages. You know why? Because it was a chain reaction that we didn't stop it, man. We didn't fix the problem. That's why in the ISUB Canada Commander Juliana, we fixing this problem so it won't be a chain reaction in our community no more. You know what I'm saying? So it won't affect our community and our daughters and our wives and our aunties no more. You understand? And these is heathens, and they understood this. They said we got to make an example out of her, man. You understand? So it won't be a chain reaction in our communities. I'm gonna keep reading. What was that? 18? Yeah, 18. I said, likewise shall the ladies of Persia and Media say this day unto all the king's princes which have heard of the deed of the queen. Thus shall there arise too much contempt and wrath. You see that? They say it's gonna rise too much contempt and wrath if we don't put an end to this. You know what I'm saying? Just it said just one woman not listening. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna cause so much wrath not only in your household. It's gonna cause so much contempt not only in your household but all of our households. Why? I'm gonna read it again. It say, likewise shall the ladies of Persia and Media say this day unto all the kings and princes. So it said that after everybody seen what she did, all the women of Persia and Media, they gonna say to the kings and princes over Media, you understand? They seen what happened, and why should they have to listen if she didn't listen? So this is what these princes is telling the king. They said this is what's gonna happen, man, if we don't make an example out of her. So I'm gonna keep reading verse 19. If it please the king, let there go a royal commandment from him, and let it be written among the laws of the Persians and the Medes, that it be not altered, that Vashti come no more before King Xerxes, before King Ashereth, and let the king give her royal estate unto another that is better than she. You see that? He said, let it be written that your wife Vashti don't even come before you no more. Let it be written that make it a law that she can never be around you no more for disrespecting you like that in front of everybody. Let it be a law. And then on top of that law, you understand, go get you a new wife. You understand? Go get you a new wife. I'm gonna read it again. And it said that Vashti come no more before King Azareth, and let the king give her royal estate unto another that is better than she. He said, man, if she don't want to listen to you, go find somebody who will. Go find somebody that's better than her. You understand? Go find somebody that's better. And you gotta remember, bro, like I said, these is heathens talking, man. You understand? These is heathens talking. And we understand that if their laws are different from our laws, because they wanted that to be a law and a commandment throughout all the provinces, that she can't be with him no more or be around him for disrespecting him. You know what I'm saying? That was the example that they wanted to make out of her. So just in case one of their wives got out of order, they can see that nigga, they will throw her away. You understand? You will be no longer a queen or a princess to me no more. I'm gonna throw you away. But we understand that being Black, Hispanic, Native American Indian, we ain't under those laws. We can't do that. You understand? Because guess what? Your wife is your wife forever. If you have sex with her, you lay down and sleep with her, man, guess what? You with her forever. Whether she embarrass you, you understand, or she disappoints you or disrespects you or not, you gotta be with her forever. Our laws is different from theirs. You understand? I'm gonna keep reading. Okay, then it say verse 20. And when the king's decree which he shall make shall be published through all his empire, for it is great, all the wives shall give to their husbands honor, both to great and to small. They say after you make after you publish this law throughout all the kingdom, you understand, even the people, the brothers that's poor, you understand, not the brothers, but even among us that's poor or rich, all their wives gonna respect him. You understand? Once you make this decree that you supposed to throw your wife away if she disrespects you, you understand that all our wives is gonna respect us, man. You understand? We're gonna get respect from all our wives after you make this decree. I'm gonna keep reading. And the saying pleased the king and the princes, and the king did according to the word of Mamakan. So what he was saying, it pleased the king. The king was satisfied with that. He was like, you know what? You right, man. I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Verse 22. For he sent letters into all the king's provinces, into every province according to the writing thereof, and to every people after their language, and that every man so that every man should bear rule in his own house, and that it should be published according to the language of every people. You see that? It said that every man should bear rule in his own house. You understand? Like that's what Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indians got to do. I mean, we got to bear rule in our own house, man. You understand? We got to bear rule in our own house, because guess what? To fix this nation, a man got to rule his house. You understand? To stop the condition, because guess what? If you're not ruling your house, guess what? You getting binded. You understand? Like what the scriptures say. How do you spoil a strong man's house? It's like first you gotta bind the strong man. You understand? Don't be binded by a feminist. You understand? Don't be binded by trying to please your woman. You understand? Just because you don't want to fight. Don't be binded by her making you feel bad because you don't want to celebrate holidays. And you know what I'm saying? You watch ISUBK and you wasn't like that before and all that. Don't be binded by that. Because guess what? If you do that, your house is gonna end up being spoiled. You understand? Your house is gonna end up being spoiled. You understand? But this is how you fix a nation, man. They said, let it be a written decree that every man shall bear rule in his house. You supposed to rule your house, man. You supposed to rule over your woman. You supposed to rule over your children. And guess what? That's righteous. You understand? That's righteous for you to rule over your woman and your children, man. That's the righteous thing to do. All right. So let's drop that. Let's go to Esther chapter 2, verse 2. Let me see something right quick. We'll go to Esther chapter 2, verse 2. All right. All right. Esther chapter 2, verse 2. Then said the king's servant that ministered unto him, let there be fair young virgins sought for the king. So then the king servant ministered to him. He said, let there be fair young virgins sought for the king. He said, man, bring some new wives in here. Bring some new women in here. You understand? You already made the decree that she can't be around you no more. So you need to find a new wife. You need to find somebody that's better than her. You understand? It said, verse 3, and let the king appoint officers in all the provinces of his kingdom, that they may gather together all the fair young virgins unto Shushan the palace, to the house of the woman, unto the custody of Hedge the king's chamberlain, keeper of the woman, and let their things be let their things be purification be given them. So he said, man, send officers, you know what I'm saying, throughout all your provinces and have them bring all the beautiful young fair virgins, man. Bring the baddest women that you can bring throughout all my provinces. Bring all of them to me, and I'm gonna pick the ones I want. I'm gonna pick the one I want. You know what I'm saying? It said, what it say? Keeper of the woman, and let their things be purification be given them. And it said, bring them to me and let them be purified. You know what I'm saying? Bring me new women and clean them up. Bro, every new woman that you bring, make sure you bring them to me and clean them up, man. You understand? I'm gonna keep reading verse 4. And let the maiden which pleased the king be clean instead of Vashti. You see that? And it said, let the maiden, so whatever woman that you clean up, it said, bring her before the king and let her be the queen instead of Vashti. That woman that disrespects you, let her be the queen instead of Vashti. And the thing pleased the king, and he did so. Okay, verse 5. Now in Shushan, the palace, there was a certain Jew whose name was Mordecai, the son of Jair, the son of Shamil, the son of Kish, a Benjamite. You know what I'm saying? So in the palace, it was a certain man named Mordecai who was a Benjamite, right? And I'm gonna keep reading. Who had been carried away from Jerusalem with the captivity, which had been carried away with Jeconiah, king of Judah, whom Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, had carried away. Verse 7. And he brought up Hadassah, that is Esther, his uncle's daughter. You see that? Why is it saying that he brought up Hadassah, that is Esther? What does that mean? Young man Silky, you want to give it a shot? And he brought up Hadassah, that is Esther. You know what I'm saying? It's okay. I'm gonna just give it to you. It's saying that he brought up Hadassah, that is Esther. You know what I'm saying? Because we was in slavery. You got to remember that we was in slavery. So we had our Hebrew names and we had a slave name. You understand? That's why it's saying, and he brought up Hadassah, that is Esther. You understand? Because Hadassah was her Hebrew name and Esther is her slave name. You understand? I'm gonna keep reading. His uncle's daughter, For she said, neither father nor mother and maid was fair and beautiful, whom Mordecai, when her father and mother were dead took of his own daughter. All right, verse 8. So it came to pass when the king's commandment and his decree was heard, and when many maidens were gathered together into Shushan, the palace, to the custody of Haggai, that Esther was brought also into the king's house to the custody of Haggai, keeper of the woman. So when he made a decree that you get all the baddest women throughout all the provinces and bring them to me, Esther was one of those women that they brought, right? Verse 9. Let me see. Yeah, verse 9. And the maiden pleased him, and she obtained kindness of him, and he speedily gave her things for purification. You understand? He gave her own after the house to purify herself. You understand? He wanted her to be purified. And it said, I'm gonna read it again. And the maiden pleased him, and she obtained kindness of him, and he speedily gave her things for purification, with such things as belonged to her, and 7 maidens which were meet to be given her out of the king's house, and be preferred her and her maidens unto the best place of the house of the women. Why did he prefer her and her maidens over everybody else? You understand? He preferred her and her maidens not because she was the pretty. That's one of the reasons. You understand? But he preferred her because she was an Israelite. You understand? She had salt. She had flavor about herself. You see what I'm saying? That's why he preferred her over everybody else. You understand? All because you gotta remember he ruled everything from Ethiopia to India. You know how many women that is? You understand? They brought all the baddest women from the baddest women, and they brought her, and he liked her better than anybody. And it's not because she was prettier, which she was, but it's because her spirit, man. He liked her spirit. You see what I'm saying? Okay. Verse 10. It said Esther had not showed her matter of fact, yeah, verse 10. And Esther had not showed her people nor her kindred, for Mordecai had charged her that she should not show it. So she didn't even let her people know that you understand she was the queen, or she was finna be chosen to be the queen. She didn't even let her people know yet. You understand? Verse 12. Now, when every maid's turn was come to go into King Xerxes, after that she had been 12 months, according to the manner of the woman. For so were the days of their purification accomplished, to wit 6 months with oil and mirth, and 6 months with sweet odors, and with other things for the purifying of the woman. You understand? You see that? What do that sound like to you? She had to go a whole year getting purified. What do that sound like to you? That sound like, to me, that sound like and exactly what it is. It sounds like the 6 month rule. You understand that? That's the 6 month rule right there, man. You understand? That's the 6 month rule, and that's why you gotta understand the things that Commander Junior Hana set up in this school, man, is so ancient and so holy and so necessary. You understand? He said, man, hey, man, get that box. You understand? You need to make sure she purified all the way for a whole year, man. She needs to get that box of Sabbath. Let her get at that box of Sabbath. You understand? And make everything smell good. Make her smell good for a whole year. Don't touch no man. You understand? That's the 6 month rule. That's the whole purpose of the 6 months rule. And it's so important. You understand what I'm saying? It's highly important for us to keep that 6 month rule. And it's an ancient thing. You see them doing it right here in Esther. They was doing a 6 month rule back then in Esther, man. You understand? I'm gonna read it again. It said, now when every maid's turn was to come, was come to go into the king Ashereth, after that she had been 12 months according to the manner of the women. Women had to do 12 months. You understand? Whenever a woman was getting with somebody, she had to be clean for 12 months. You understand? Meaning clean, meaning that she had to not be sleeping with nobody for 12 months, right? According to the manner of the woman. For so were the days of their purification accomplished, to wit 6 months with oil of mirth, and 6 months with sweet odors. So she had to be 6 months with oils and myrrh and sweet odors, man. 6 months she was just bathing with oils and myrrh and just she smelled good. Not only is she bad and her spirit is up to par, nigga, but she smelled bomb, right? And it said, and with other things for the purifying of the woman. And they did all this to her 6 month rule, and they purified her with all these oils and ointments and odors, you know what I'm saying, to make sure she was purified, right? Okay, so let's drop that. Let me see. And also, and why did he prefer her over her? I mean, prefer her over everybody else. You know what I'm saying? Especially over Vashti, because guess what? Esther had something Vashti didn't have. You understand? She had something that Vashti didn't have. And what was that? Her spirit, man. She was an Israelite. She was the salt of the earth. You understand? So let's drop that. Let's go to 17. It said, and the king loved Esther above all the women, and she obtained grace and favor in his sight more than all the virgins, so that he set the royal crown upon her head and made her queen instead of Vashti. You see that? Why did he want to make Esther queen over Vashti? Why did he prefer Esther? I'm saying over all the virgins, not just Vashti, but over all of them. Why did he prefer her? You understand? Because she had something Vashti didn't have. Esther has something that all these other women did not have. You understand? And that was her spirit, man. You understand? Because she had salt. You understand? She had flavor about herself. Her spirit was raw. You understand what I'm saying? So he preferred her over all of them. And guess what he did? He put the crown on her head. You understand? He put the crown on her head. So I'm gonna keep reading. Then the king made a great feast unto all his princes and his servants, even Esther's feast. And he made a release to the provinces and gifts according to the state of the king. Verse 19. And when the virgins were gathered together the second time, then Mordecai sat in the king's gate. Verse 20. Esther had not yet showed her kindred nor her people, as Mordecai had charged her. For Esther did the commandment of Mordecai, like as she was brought up with him. You see that? What did it say? I'm gonna read that again because that's heavy. It said, verse 20. Esther had not yet showed her kindred nor her people, as Mordecai had charged her. For Esther did the commandment of Mordecai. No, it said Esther did what she wanted to do. It said Esther did the commandment of Mordecai. You know what I'm saying? You know what Esther did? She followed what a man above her told her to do, man. You understand? She didn't say, oh, man, you got me messed up. I'm the queen. I do what I want to do. You understand? This ain't about what you want. Now, she did what a man above her told her to do. You understand? She said, Kana wa Khan. That's what she did. That's what Esther did, man. You know what I'm saying? She didn't have that spirit of, man, I'm going to do what I want to do, man, because I make more money than you. You understand? I got more clothes and jewelry and stuff than you. I'm going to do what I want to do. You are not in a position to tell me what to do with my life. You understand? I'm blessed. She didn't do none of that. She said, Khan on Khan. You understand? Because what? Esther did the commandment of Mordecai. She did what the man above her told her to do. You see what I'm saying? So let's keep going. Let's go to 21. In those days, while Mordecai sat in the king's gate, two of the king's chamberlains, Bigthan and Teresh, of those which kept the door, were wroth and sought to lay hand on King Ahasuerus. So you had two people that was at the king gates that worked for the king that was plotting to kill the king, right? Verse 22. And the thing was known to Mordecai, who told it unto Esther, the queen. And Esther certified the king thereof in Mordecai's name. So you see that? I'm going to read that again. Verse 22. And the king, it's like it said, and the thing was known to Mordecai, who told it unto Esther, the queen. And Esther certified the king thereof in Mordecai's name. And it said Esther certified the thing in Mordecai's name. What did that mean? It said, let me see. That mean that she wasn't just worried about herself. You understand? She wasn't just worried about herself. Mordecai told Esther, and the reason why he told her that because he knew that was gonna get her closer to the king. You understand? She knew he knew that if he told her that it was he dropped a dime on these two people that was plotting on the king, that was gonna get Esther closer to the king. You understand? So when he told Esther this, Esther went to the king like, man, if I may, sir, if I may, I want, hey man, it's two people that's plotting on you. You know what I'm saying? And I heard this from Mordecai. You understand? Your servant, your servant at the gate, he the one who told me. I'm gonna keep reading. I'm gonna read that again. Matter of fact, and the king was known. And the thing was known to Mordecai, who told it into Esther the queen, and Esther certified the king thereof in Mordecai's name. Because you gotta think about it. Why did he tell Esther this? Out of everybody that he could have told, he could have just been. So why did he care? You understand? Why did he care that this people, this king that conquered his people? Why would he care that two people that's not his people is plotting to kill the king? He only cared because he knew this is going to get Esther closer to the king, man. You understand? This is going to get Esther closer to the king. This is what Mordecai wanted, right? I'm going to keep reading. And when an inquisition was made of the matter, it was found out. Therefore, they were both hanged on a tree, and it was written in the book of the Chronicles before the king. So she told the king, and he made sure he wrote it in the records. You know what I'm saying? It was written in the records. That's what people gotta understand. This Bible is records, man. This ain't just like no book, and it's just some made up stories. These are actual people. This is actual history. These are records. You see what I'm saying? But yeah, man. But that's why Esther so wrong, because she could have just took credit for it. She could have just said that, King, I know it's two people that's trying to kill you. They work at the gate. You understand? They work at the gate. But she didn't do that. She said, it's two people trying to kill you, and Mordecai the one who told me this. You understand? She's raw. She is extraordinary for that. So let's drop down. Let's go to verse 3. Okay. It said, after these things did King Ashereth promote Haman, the son of Hamadatha, the Agite. You understand? Because you got to remember, he promoted him because he had just killed two people that worked at the gate. So he needed to promote somebody to make sure he was safe or whatever. You understand? And it said he promoted Haman, the Agagite, and advanced him and set his seat above all the princes that were with him. You understand? That just who was the Agite? What nation of people is the Agites? Do anybody know? What nation of people is the Agites? Okay, so I might know the nation, the Agites are the white man, your oppressor. That's who the Agites is. The Agites is the Edomites. Let me see. Okay, yeah, the Agites is the so-called white man. That's who the Agites is, and I just tell you about him. That like the white man, he always seemed to find in his way, almost in like in a seat of power or somebody close to being in power. He always seemed to find his way like that, man. Being around somebody in power. And it said, after these things did King Ashereth promote Haman, the son of Hamadatha, the Agite, and advance him and set his seat above all the princes that were with him. So he set this white man above everybody and set him. He was like the vice president. You know what I'm saying? He was Ashereth's second in command. You understand? Let me keep reading. And all the king's servants that were in the king's gate bowed and reverenced Haman, for the king had had commanded concerning him. But Mordecai bowed not, nor did he reverence him. So everybody bowed themselves down. You understand? To Haman, because the king commanded it. But Mordecai, he didn't bow. He didn't bow to this Edomite. You know what I'm saying? He didn't bow to this Edomite, even though he was the king's right-hand man. You understand? And I'm gonna keep reading. Verse 3. Then the king's servant, which were in the king's gate, said unto Mordecai, why transgressest thou the king's commandments? So then you got two brothers that's working at the gate, they coning. You understand? That's exactly what they going. They asking him why he ain't bowing to this oppressor, why he ain't bowing to this Edomite. You understand? They cooning, right? Verse 4. It said, now it came to pass when they spake daily unto him, and he hearkened not unto them, that they told Haman to see whether Mordecai's matter would stand, for he had told them that he was a Jew. You know what I'm saying? So why didn't Mordecai bow? Anybody know? It said, I'm gonna read it again. Now it came to pass when they spake daily unto him, and he hearkened not unto them, that they told Haman to see whether Mordecai's matter would stand, for he had told them that he was a Jew. You understand? So he didn't bow because he was a Jew, man. That's why. He didn't bow because he was Prince of the Power. You know what I'm saying? He was Yasha Ali, he Prince of the Power. He don't bow to no, we don't bow to nobody. You understand? That's why Mordecai said he's not gonna bow to him. You understand? We don't do that. We don't do that. That tell you about Israelites. We don't have a culture and custom to bow to any man. You understand? I'm gonna keep reading, verse 5. And when Haman saw that Mordecai bowed not, nor did him reverence, then was Haman full of wrath. Oh man, so after he didn't bow, he was hot. You understand? He was mad as hell that Mordecai didn't bow. I'm gonna keep reading, verse 6. And he thought scorn to lay hands on Mordecai alone. That tell you all about your oppressor. You understand? That tell you all about your oppressor. He didn't want to bow to him. So guess what? He wanted to kill him, man. He wanted to lay hands on him. You understand? That's why you can't bow in the NFL. You can't take a knee in the NFL. You understand? Guess what? They gonna ruin your career. You understand? You're not gonna play another football game in your life, damn near. You better not bow. You understand? You can't take no knee. You understand? But meanwhile, they putting their knee on your neck, and you ain't getting no justice for it. You know what I'm saying? That tell you about your oppressive spirit right there. You understand? He wanted to kill this man because he didn't bow. But we go to camp and we tell them that, you know, say if you feel sorry for black people, you love black people, there's a solution for that. You can get on your knees and kiss the boots of former prophets and preach the prophets of the Lord. You know what I'm saying? You can do that, but they don't want to do it. You know what I'm saying? But you got this. This tell you about the spirit of your oppressor right here. This tell you the exact type of spirit they got, man. I'm gonna keep reading. It said, for they had showed him the people of Mordecai, wherefore Haman sought to destroy all the Jews that were throughout the whole kingdom of Ashereth. Hold on, read again. He wanted to destroy who? All the Jews. No, he wanted to destroy Mordecai family. All the Jews that were throughout the whole kingdom of Ashereth, even the people of Mordecai. Man, he wanted to kill all the Jews. You know what I'm saying? Because one person didn't bow to him, he wanted to wipe out a whole nation. And that tell you everything you need to know about your oppressor right there. You know what I'm saying? That tell you everything you need to know about him. Let them be able to get us all at the event. You understand? They will wipe all of us out. And that's why America got to get destroyed, man. You understand? That's exactly why America got to get destroyed. Because if one man didn't bow, because this is the thing, he knew that if he didn't stop this one man from doing this, then none of the Israelites would do it. You understand? None of the Israelites would do it. Nobody's going to bow to him. And they so prideful, and they got so much of a sense of entitlement to something. You understand? They got so much hatred in them for us that one man didn't bow, and he wanted to wipe out a whole nation. That they tell you the spirit of your oppressor right there. You understand? I'm gonna keep reading. It said, wherefore Haman sought to destroy all the Jews that were throughout the whole kingdom of Ashereth, even the people of Mordecai. So not only did he want to destroy all the Jews, but he wanted to destroy Mordecai and his family as well. All right, verse 7. Verse 7, yeah. In the first month, that is the month of Nisan, In the 12th year of King Ashereth, they cast pur, that is, the lot, before Haman from day to day and from month to month to the 12th month, that is, the month of Adar. Verse 8. And Haman said unto King Ashereth, there is a certain people scattered abroad and dispersed among the people in all the provinces of thy kingdom, and their laws are diverse from all people. Neither keep they the king's laws. Therefore, it is not for the king's profit to suffer them. So he said, so Haman went to, he mad as hell that Mordecai won't bow to him. So guess what he did? He went to the king. He went to Ashereth about it. And he said, man, look, check this out. It's a people that's in throughout all your provinces, from Ethiopia all the way to India. You over this big kingdom. And guess what? It's a people that's inside this kingdom that their laws are different from everybody else. You understand? And I tell you a lot about our laws. He was mad that we didn't want to come together. You understand? We didn't want to come together under one big coalition of everybody loving each other. You understand? We didn't want to do that. And he told the king, man, that their laws are diverse from all the other people's laws. Their laws tell them to separate. You know what I'm saying? You make laws saying that you can eat shrimp, crab, lobster, and pork. They don't want to eat shrimp, crab, lobster, and pork. You know what I'm saying? You make a law saying that two men can be together. They don't want to be homosexuals. You understand? You make laws saying that you can shave your beard off. They got laws saying that you can't shave your beard off. You understand? They think they better than you, King. You understand? I'm gonna keep reading. Neither keep they the king's laws. Therefore, it is not for the king's profit to suffer them. So he said, it's not. You should get rid of them, because it's in your best interest to get rid of them, because they're not gonna profit you none. You understand? They're not gonna profit you none. So like yeah. So he said, so he wanted us to get put to death. So he telling the king, like, man, you need to get rid of them. You know what I'm saying? This people is not worth it. You understand? I'm gonna keep reading. Verse 9. If it please the king, let it be written that they may be destroyed. You see that? All because one man didn't want to bow to this Edomite. He said, if it please the king, let it be that they all be destroyed. Kill all of them. You understand? Kill all of them. He not telling the king the real reason why. He don't want to. He mad because Mordecai wouldn't bow to him. You understand? Okay, I'm gonna keep reading. It said, if it please the king, let it be written that they may be destroyed, and I will pay 10,000 talents of silver to the hands of those that have the charge of the business to bring it into the king's treasuries. He said, if it please the king, let you kill all of them. You know what I'm saying? And if I may, I got 10,000 talents on it. It says, so what's 10,000 talents? You know what I'm saying? What's 10,000 talents? It's okay. So one talent of silver is $18,620.25. That's what one talent is. Talent of silver. Hammond said he had 10,000 talents of silver. You understand? So in today's time, those $10,000 silver will be 186,202,002. You understand? So he put 100. So this man went in there and put $180 million on the children of Israel head, all because one man wouldn't bow down to him. You know what I'm saying? If that don't teach you so much about your oppressor, man, it's ridiculous. So like, yeah, get this baby real quick. Understand? He put this man. He was so mad at it. He was so mad that Mordecai won't bow. He put $180 million on the children of Israel head. You know what I'm saying? He said, I'll pay 10,000 talents of silver to the hands of those that have the charge of this business to bring it into the king's treasury. You see that verse 10. And the king took his ring from his hand and gave it to Haman, the son of Hammedatha, the Agite, the Jews' enemy. You said what? The what? It said the Jews' enemy. See, like the Christian church, they like to tell you the Arab, or you know what I'm saying? We all should come together. We don't have no enemies, and we all should just love each other under one big rainbow coalition. You know what I'm saying? But the Bible said that the Edomites is the Jews' enemy. You know what I'm saying? And that's what Mordecai knew. That's why Mordecai wouldn't bow to him, man, because he know through this Bible, man, that they have always been our enemy. Even when we was in the womb in Genesis, the 25th chapter, these Edomites, you know what I'm saying, they have always been an enemy to Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indians. They have been a chief enemy to Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indians. That's why we read in Esther, and King Xerxes he rules the whole known world. But you got this Edomite that got he's so prideful, have a sense of entitlement that he wants to murder everybody. You know what I'm saying? He wants to murder the Jews. And we already a conquered people. We can't do him no harm. You know what I'm saying? He's second in command to the king, and he wants to murder us. All because one man wouldn't bow, man. You see what I'm saying? Okay, so it said that Hamadath, the Agite, the Jews' enemy. You know what I'm saying? So Israelites, we always had enemies, man. And this is the chief enemy right here. So let me see. Okay. Let me see where we're gonna go now. Okay, so we're gonna keep reading to 10. We're gonna keep reading 10. And the king took his ring from his hand and gave it to Haman, the son of Hamadiah, the Agite, the Jews' enemies. Verse 11. And the king said unto Haman, the silver is given unto thee, that people the silver is given to thee, the people also, to do with them as it seemeth good unto thee. Then were the king's scribes called unto the 13th day. So Haman basically saying, like, man, I'm rich. I got 180 million on it. It ain't no sweat to me. I'm rich anyways. But if it please you, just we just gonna put in your treasury, and then you can just kill them whenever you know what I'm saying, you want to. And given to thee, the people also, to do with them as it seemeth good to thee. Then were the king's scribes called on the 13th day of the first month, and there were written according to all that Haman had commanded unto the king's lieutenants and to the governors, and that were over every province, and to the rulers of every people of every province, according to the writing thereof, and to every people after their language, in the name of the king of Xerxes, Ashereth, was it written and sealed with the king's ring. Verse 13. And the letter was sent by post into all the king's provinces, to destroy, to kill, and to cause to perish all Jews. You see that? So this dude, it was a bounty on our head for 180 million on all Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indians because one man didn't bow. It was a bounty on our head for over $180 million to kill all the Jews. You understand? Through all his province. So if you catch a Jew or Israelite or Hebrew, you understand, or whatever may you be, from Ethiopia to India, he said, if you catch them, kill them. You understand? Kill them. And he wanted to do that because they put because he wouldn't bow to him, man. Okay, I'm gonna keep reading. And said verse 13, and the letters were sent by post into all the king's provinces, to destroy, to kill, and to cause to perish all Jews, both young and old, little children and women, in one day. So he made a decree that he wanted to kill all Israelites in one day. You understand? If you leave him to your oppressor, man, he'll get us all at one get together and drop a bomb on us. You understand? He'll wait till we doing something, and he'll try to wipe out all of us if you leave it to him. You understand? They want to kill all of us in one day, and that's exactly why the scripture said America gonna fall in an hour. You understand? Because they've been killing blacks just like how they was trying to back then. That's why America's supposed to gonna fall in an hour, man. Just like Assyria's kingdom fell. You understand? Every great kingdom that had black, Hispanic, and Native American Indians as slaves, they failed, man. You know why? Because they want to see it. They want to see us be destroyed. They want to see us murdered in the whole day. You understand what I'm saying? Even until the 13th day of the 12th month, which is the month of Adar, and to take the spoil of them for a prey. You see that? What do it mean to take the spoil of them for a prey? What does that mean? So, what do it mean to take the rest of them for a spoil? What does that mean? It said, and to take the spoil of them for a prey. What do I mean? Meaning it's gonna take the ones left. It's gonna take they want to kill off the mighty, and the ones that's left, we gonna make them Christians. You know what I'm saying? The ones who poor and you know what I'm saying, they're not warriors. You understand? We gonna make them Christians, man. That's what we gonna do. That's what that was their plan. Verse 14. The copy of the writing of the commandment to be given in every province was published into all people, that they should be ready against that day. So this copy was published to all people, man, that they should be ready on the day that the king said to kill all the Jews. Everybody should be ready to kill all the Jews on that day. You understand? Verse 15. The post went out being hastened by the king's commandment, and the decree was given in Shushan the palace, and the king of Haman sat down to drink, but the city Shushan was perplexed. All right, I'm gonna keep going. Let's see. Okay, I'm gonna keep reading. Let's go to Esther 4:4. When Mordecai perceived, what'd you say? All right. It said when Mordecai perceived all that was done, Mordecai rent his clothes and put sackcloth with ashes and went out into the midst of the city and cried with a loud and bitter cry. All right. In verse 2, and came even before the king's gate, for none might enter into the king's gate clothed with sackcloth. And in every province whatsoever the kings commanded, and his decree came, there was great mourning among the Jews, and fasting and weeping and wailing, and many lay in sackcloth and ashes. Yeah, so we was fasting, weeping, and wailing, man, praying to the Lord that we all don't get murdered through all these provinces that we scattered in, all because Mordecai won't bow to this so-called white man, right? Verse 4. So Esther's maids and her chamberlains came and told it to her. Then was the queen exceedingly grieved. So Esther, you know what I'm saying, who became queen, her maids came in and told her, like, man, look, it's a decree written that all your people and you should be murdered on this day. It says, so let's see what Esther did. And she sent raiment to clothe Mordecai and to take away his sackcloth from him, but he received it not. So she tried to send Mordecai clothes and all that, and he didn't care about it. And you know one thing about this, sister, When they said that her maids came to her and told her that everything that was going to happen, guess what? What did it say? It said it exceedingly grieved her. Why did it exceedingly grieve her? You know why? Because she cared about the poor. You understand? She cared about her people, whether rich or poor. Matter of fact, she cared about her people. She wasn't like Oprah. You understand? Who get a little bit of authority and position in America's kingdom, and forget about black people. She wasn't like Gail. You understand? They don't care about black people. You understand? She wasn't like Beyonce or nobody else that black people look up to. You understand? She cared about her people, man. No matter if she was queen or not. You see what I'm saying? What we got again? Verse 4 and 4. Okay, we'll keep reading. Then called Esther of Hadassah, one of the king's chamberlains, whom he had appointed to attend unto her. To attend upon her, and gave him a commandment to Mordecai to know what it was and why it was. Or 6. So Hadassah went forth to Mordecai into the street of the city, which was before the king's gate. And Mordecai told him of all that had happened unto him, and of the sum of the money that Haman had promised to pay to the king's treasuries for the Jews to be destroyed. So, so one of her servants she sent to Mordecai to tell him what Haman had did. You know what I'm saying? That Haman put $180 million on the children of Israel head. You understand? So she sent her servant to tell him about it. To tell him like, man, look, this dude doing. This dude he plotting on us. You know what I'm saying? He didn't put money on our head. What should we do, man? That's why you got sackcloth on you and you mourning, all whole people's mourning. Haman is behind it. Our enemy, this Edomite, he's behind this. You understand? I'm gonna keep reading. I'm saying, let me see. So Hattas went forth to Mordecai into the street of the city, which was before the king's gate. And Mordecai told him of all that had happened unto him, and of the sum of the money that Haman had promised to pay to the king's treasuries for the Jews to be destroyed. So what's happening now is that you got the rich talking to the poor. You understand? You got the rich talking to the poor, and it's all gonna come together. Verse 8. Also, he gave him the copy of the writing of the decree that was given at Shushan to destroy them, to show it unto Esther, and to declare it unto her, and to charge her that she should go into the king to make supplication unto him, and to make requests before him for her people. Hold on, for who? Said for her people. You know what I'm saying? Esther did what she's gonna do for her people, man. You understand? He said Esther has to do something about this, and she was like, you know what, I'm gonna do something about it because I'm in a position to do that. And that's why when you see Black, Hispanic, and Native Americans and that get a position of being rich and famous and all that, you're not given that position so you can get out the ghetto. You ain't given that position so you can make it out the ghetto and you understand forget about everybody else. You given that position in these kingdoms so you can help your people, man. That position that you given is supposed to be for your people, just like with Joshua. You know what I'm saying? Just like with Moses, it was given on that seat of power and authority and whatnot, being under those people, so they can help they people, man. But we've been so turned out in American society, we don't want to help our people. We want to do things for our own selfish gain. You understand? And that's another reason why we destroy because we lack brotherhood and sisterhood, man. Our spirit is totally corrupt. But this sister right here, what did it say? It said, and to make requests before him for her people. And saying she did this is for her people, man. She didn't get rich and become queen and be like, you know what, forget them, they're at the bottom. You understand? It's lonely at the top and all that. You understand? She didn't do none of that. She did what she had to do for her people. And that's so important, especially if you're a Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indian woman out there, and you feel like you got something to offer. You understand? You do, and you supposed to have a spirit like Esther, man. You understand? You have a spirit like Esther, and whatever you have to offer I'm saying it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. So let me see verse 8. I'm gonna keep reading. Verse 9. And Hatath, came and told Esther the words of Mordecai. Verse 10. Again, Esther spake unto Hatat and gave him commandments unto Mordecai. Verse 11. All the king's servants and all the people of the king's provinces do know that whosoever, whether man or woman, shall Salakia. Salakia. What was we at? Verse 9, and it said, verse 11. And then you see, okay, yeah, verse 11. And the king's servants and the people of the king's provinces do know that whosoever, whether man or woman, shall come into the king into the inner court, who is not called, there is one law of his to put him to death, except such to whom the king shall hold out the golden scepter, that he may live. But I have not been called to come into the king these 30 days. So she said, okay, I'll do what you're saying. You know what I'm saying? I do exactly what you're saying, Mordecai, but I can't go in there without, if I don't have an appointment to see the king. Because if I go in there and I don't have an appointment, it's a law that whoever come in here that don't have an appointment shall be put to death. He gonna kill me. You understand? So I gotta wait till I get an appointment to do this, right? The verse 12. And they told Mordecai Esther's words. Then Mordecai commanded to answer Esther, think not with thyself that thou shalt escape into the king's house more than all the Jews. You see that? He said, think not with thyself that thou shalt escape in the king's house more than all the Jews. He said, man, don't think because you the queen, you gonna escape this decree too. Don't think because you the queen, they're gonna forget that you a Jew too. They gonna kill all of us. Don't think that you better than us. You know what I'm saying? Because this is a written decree that they gonna kill all of us, man. And so they gonna put all of us to death. You're not gonna get away. You know what I'm saying? You a nigga just like how we a nigga. You understand? Don't think that. Verse 14. For if thou altogether holdest thy peace at this time, then shall their enlargement and deliverance arise to the Jews from another place. But thou and thy father's house shall be destroyed. And who knoweth whether thou art come to the kingdom for such a time as this? You know what I'm saying? Let me keep reading. Then Esther bade them return Mordecai this answer. He said, go gather together all the Jews that are present in Shushan, and fast ye for them. Fast ye for me, and neither eat nor drink 3 days, night or day. I also and my maidens will fast likewise, and so will I go into the king, which is not according to the law. And if I perish, I perish. Oh, you see that? You know what I'm saying? She said, this is for my people, man. I'm gonna do exactly kind of a concert. I'm gonna do exactly what you said. And if I go in there, whether I got an appointment or not, if he kill me, if I die, I die. But I'm gonna do this for my people, man. I'm gonna do this so we all won't die. You understand? I'm gonna do this so we all won't die. Now, so I don't got no appointment, but guess what? I'm still finna go in there. You understand? I'm gonna do this for my people, man. And this is the type of sister, and this is the type of sister that sisters should want to be. You know what I'm saying? This is who you should look up to. This is who you should reference. You know what I'm saying? That's it. Like this is an amazing sister that decided, and she courageous for deciding that she was gonna do something like this. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody else, they would have just tried to look out for themselves. They were like, well, I know my people finna die, but I'm his woman, I'm his queen. You know what I'm saying? Man, they ain't finna kill me. You know what I'm saying? Well, But she listened to Mordecai. That's why it's so important for a woman to listen to a man over her, man. Because in situations like this, you can't make the right decision. It's not in you to make the right decision. That's why we was able to, you know what I'm saying, I don't want to spoil the story, but that's why the story going the way it is, because she's listening to orders that's given to her by a man that's over her. You know what I'm saying? And that's so important. And so for us to recognize that and see how important that is to get us out of the situation. If more sisters thought like Esther, you understand? If more Black, Hispanic, and Native American women thought like Esther, man, we'd be in the kingdom of heaven right now. You understand? If more sisters wanted to be like Esther, we'd be in the kingdom of heaven right now. You understand? I keep reading. What we got? 17. All right. It said, so Mordecai went his way and did according to all that Esther had commanded him. All right, so we're gonna drop that. We're gonna go to Esther 5:1, chapter 5, verse 1. Now it came to pass on the third day that Esther put on her royal apparel and stood in the inner courts of the king's house over against the king's house, and the king sat upon his royal throne in the royal house over against the gate of the house. So man, next day or whatever, man, she put all her little bracelets on, her little nice earrings, you know what I'm saying, her little odors on, her little good smelling stuff, her little head wrap, nice dress, you know what I'm saying? She got all dolled up. She got dolled up, right? So verse 2. And it was so when the king saw Esther, the queen, standing in the court, that she obtained favor in his sight. And the king, Salakia. Oh, yep. I'm gonna keep reading. And it said, and it was so when the king saw Esther, the queen, standing in the court, that she obtained favor in his sight. And the king held out to Esther the golden scepter that was in his hand. So Esther drew near and touched the top of the scepter. You saying so? When she got all dolled up, she went to the king. The king seen her and was like, "Oh yeah, man." She found favor in his sight. You understand? So she expected to go in there and not knowing if she was gonna get killed or not. And guess what? She went in there all dolled up. You understand? That's the thing, man. She went in there using her femininity, man. When she didn't even know she was gonna die. Now she went in there and was subtle using her femininity, and guess what? He didn't kill her. You know what I'm saying? He put that golden scepter on, she touched it, and she was good. You understand? And it's like if Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indian woman do that, man, you know how what the condition that because you gotta understand, America then gave Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indian women a backbone that they shouldn't have. They gave them a backbone against Black men, against Hispanic, Native American Indian men. You understand? If they was just to flip it and use it to their benefit for their nation, man, we like I said, we had a kingdom of heaven right now. You understand? It said, turn this off, Salakia. All right. So he found favor in her sight, right? Verse 3. Matter of fact, we're going to jump to verse 6. And the king said unto Esther at the banquet of wine, what is thy petition? And it shall be granted thee. And what is thy request? Even to half of the kingdom, it shall be performed. And so she came in there all dolled up. And he said, what is your petition? What do you want? You so bad. What do you want? You want half the kingdom? I'll give it to you. You understand? I like you so much, man. You won't have this kingdom. I will give it to you, man. What do you want? You understand? I'm gonna keep reading. Then answered Esther and said, my petition and my request is, if I have found favor in the sight of the king. You see that? Raw. She said, if I found favor in the sight of the king, my lord, Adawan, if I found favor in your sight, my petition is this. He said, and if I found favor in the sight of the king, and if it pleased the king to grant my petition and to perform my request, let the king and Haman come So like, let the king and Haman come to the banquet that I shall prepare for them, and I will do tomorrow as the king have said. So he said that, man, look, if if I may, I'm saying it's like, he said, so she said, if I may, you know what I'm saying, concert, my favorite, please D, let it said, let I want you to come to this banquet that tomorrow. I want you and Hammond to come to this banquet. You understand? I want y'all to come eat this food that I'm gonna cook for y'all and all that, right? And I will do tomorrow as the kings have said. Verse 9. Then went Haman forth that day joyful and with a glad heart. But when Haman saw Mordecai in the king's gate, that he stood not up nor moved for him, he was full of indignation against Mordecai. So when he seen so the next day Haman was walking through, he was joyful. You understand? But when he seen Mordecai at the gate, Mordecai didn't move, he didn't stand up, he didn't bow, or none of that. And guess what? It said that he was full of indignation against Mordecai. He was hot. He was mad. You understand? He was mad, like, man, I'm second in command. You understand? I'm like the vice president. I got all this money. Yes, and the king want me to come to this banquet tomorrow for me. I'm so happy. You understand? But he looked and he see Mordecai. He see Mordecai ain't bowing like everybody else, bowing every time he walked past and all that. And it made him have indignation against Mordecai. Like, meaning that he had hatred toward Mordecai. That made him mad. He had everything he wanted in the world, but all he really wanted was Mordecai to bow down to him, man. You understand? He wanted Mordecai to bow down to him. Verse 10. Nevertheless, Haman refrained himself, and when he came home, he sent and called for his friends and Zeresh, his wife. You know what I'm saying? Verse 11. And Haman told them of the glory of his riches and the multitude of his children and all the things wherein the king had promoted him. And he had advanced him above the princes in the service of the king. So he called for his wife and his friends to tell him, like, man, yeah, man, I'm so rich, man. I got all these beautiful children. You know what I'm saying? I got all this money. The king put me over all the princes and over everybody else besides him. And so he gave me all this stuff, right? Verse 12. Haman said, moreover, yeah, Esther the queen did let no man come in. Slacky. Oh yeah, I'm gonna skip the verse to 13. He said, yet all this availeth me nothing, so long as I see Mordecai the Jew sitting at the king's gate. He said, I got all this stuff, but it don't matter to me if that nigga won't bow down to me. You understand? I got all these riches, all these children and women, and all these great houses, and I got all this power, but none of it means nothing to me if this nigga won't get on his knees and bow down to me, man. You understand? That's how much this is the spirit of your oppressor, not only back then, but right now. This is how he feel right now about you, man. He like, you gotta understand, they got all the money in the world. We slaves right now in America. They benefited off of every invention. You know what I'm saying? They benefit off us right now playing sports and basketball, movies. They take advantage of us so much, but none of it means nothing. You understand? If we don't be Christians. I'm saying none of it means nothing if we in the ISUBK, they got indignation towards us. We serving the Lord. Them having all this money and riches and children and women, it means nothing if you Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indians serving the Lord. It means nothing to them. You understand? It means nothing to them. This is the spirit of them, man. I'm gonna keep reading. Yet all this availeth me nothing, so long as I see Mordecai the Jew sitting at the king's gate. Verse 14. Then said Zeresh his wife and all the friends unto him, let the gallows be made of 50 cubits high. Tomorrow speak thou unto the king that Mordecai may be hanged thereon. Then go in merrily with the king into the banquet, And the thing pleased Haman, and he caused the gallows to be made. So they had so much hate in their heart, right? This white man towards this Benjamite, towards this Jamaican, he said, no, didn't know. His wife said, his wife and his friends, and that they said, let us let a what did it say? Then said Zerah, his wife and all his friends unto him, let a gallows be made of 50 cubits high tomorrow, and let him be hanged on it. So they said, tomorrow all you gotta do is just make a gallows 50 cubits high, and just hang him on it, and then tomorrow just go on the king banquet, and then just you know what I'm saying, act like he never existed. And that's why you gotta understand the so-called white woman, the so-called white oppressor, the woman, you know what I'm saying, she had a lot to do with black, Hispanic, and Native American Indians getting killed during slavery, even to this day. Today she would be called a Karen. You understand? But this white woman had a lot to do with black people getting murdered in slavery, man. You understand? Forcing slaves to sleep with her, lying, saying a black boy whistled at her. You understand? That's why some of the riots happened. You understand? Roseville, Florida, because a white woman lied. That's why what's his name? The black boy Emmett Till. So Emmett Till was killed and mutilated and all that because a white woman lied on him, man. You know what I'm saying? They came out years later and said that she lied. You know what I'm saying? A white woman said they had a lot to do with black people getting murdered, man. You understand? But they try to sit there and play innocent. Well, look what his wife did. His wife said, "You need to build a 50 cubit gallows. You know how high 50 cubits is? That's 75 feet. That's down there like 7 stories. You need to build a 7-story gallows and hang him on it. You understand? You know how high 7 stories is? They're saying that he want everybody to see this man hanging because he didn't want to bow down to him. You understand? Let me keep reading. And then let's go to chapter 6. And on the night could not the king sleep, and he commanded to bring the book and records of the chronicles, and they were read before the king. And says so the king couldn't sleep, right? And he's like, man, bring me the book of chronicles. Let me read through our records, man. I think I'm forgetting something. Verse 2. And it was found written that Mordecai had told Bigthana and Teresh, 2 of the king's chamberlains, the keepers of the door, who sought to lay hand on the king Ashereth. And the king said, what honor and dignity have been done to Mordecai for this? Then said the king's servant that ministered unto him, there is nothing done for him. So he remembered, he going through the records, and he remembered it was 2 people that sought to kill him. And Mordecai told Esther that, hey man, it's 2 people that the 2 people that's watching his door, you understand, that's watching the king's door, they plan to kill the king. Make sure you tell the king. And Esther went back and told the king, man, look, your servant Mordecai that worked the gate, he told me that it's 2 people that's looking to kill you that work at your door. You understand, that watch the door while you sleep, and they planning to kill you. So then he asked, so King Ashereth asked his chamberlains, what was done? You know what I'm saying? Did he receive anything for doing this? Did he get any money? Did he get any respect for basically saving my life? You understand? They said no, nothing was done for him doing that. Okay, verse 4. Chapter 6, verse 4. And the king said, who is in the court now? Haman, he said, Slaki, and the king said, who is in the court? Now Haman was coming into the outward court of the king's house to speak unto the king to hang Mordecai on the gallows that he had prepared for him. So you see that? So right when Haman coming in to tell the king that, man, look, we need to hang Mordecai. You understand? We need to hang. I know it's a promise written that we're gonna kill all of them anyway, but I want to hang specifically him because he wouldn't bow down. He refused to listen to your commandments. You understand? The same person that he was snitching on that work became manager. You see what I'm saying? The same person that he was trying to snitch on that work became manager and was put over him. You understand? Let's keep reading. He said, the king's servant said unto him, oh yes, Salakia. Verse 6. So Haman came in, and the king said unto him, what shall be done? No, Salakia, verse 5. And the king's servant said unto him, behold, Haman standeth in the court. And the king said, let him come in. So the king let Haman in, right? Verse 6. So Haman came in, and the king said unto him, what shall be done unto the man whom the king delighted to honor? Now Haman thought in his heart, to whom the king delight to be honored more than more than to myself. So let me keep reading a little bit more. And Haman answered the king, for the man whom the king delight to honor. Verse 8, let the royal apparel be brought which the king uses to wear, and the horse that the king rideth upon, and the crown royal which is set upon his head. So why is he saying this? You know what I'm saying? Why is he saying this? Let me read it one more time. Salaki. It says, so Haman came in, and the king said unto him, what shall be done to the man whom the king delighted to honor? So he asked Haman, what shall be done unto the man that the king will honor? So the man that I want to honor, what shall be done to him? You gotta remember, Haman coming in to speak bad about Mordecai to hang him. You know what I'm saying? And also you got a banquet coming up. So Haman think that the king was referring to him being honored. He think it's since he is so only he's the only one invited to this banquet. He think that the king is wants to honor him, right? Let's keep going. He said, verse 6. So, oh yeah, verse 6. Now Haman thought in his heart, to whom would the king delight to do honor more than to myself? So he said he's asking in his mind, damn, who would the king want to honor more than me? He already set me above all these princes and over all his provinces. You understand? He already gave me all this riches and his money. You understand? He already gave me all these different things. Who would he want to honor more than me? You understand? That tell you all about your oppressor right there. You understand? And then what happened? I'm gonna keep reading. Verse 7. And Haman answered the king. So this is what Haman, because he thinks he's talking about himself. He think he the one who get honored. So this is what he said. And Haman answered the king, for the man whom the king delight to honor. So he said, so the person you about to honor, you want to honor, it said, let the royal apparel be brought, which the king uses to wear. He said, let the thing, the cloak and everything that you want to wear in your jacket, let the man that you honor wear your jacket, wear your cloak, right? He said, let the royal apparel be brought, what the king uses to wear, and the horse that the king rideth upon, and the crown royal was set upon his head. So he said, let him wear your royal jacket. You understand? The person that you want to honor, let him ride your horse and wear the crown that you wear on your head. Right? And why is he saying this? He's saying this because he think this is what he's going to get. But keep reading. And let the and Salaki, let me see. Oh yeah, and let this apparel and horse be delivered to the hand of one of the king's most noble princes, that they may array the man withal whom the king delighted to honor, and bring him on horseback through the streets of the city, and proclaim before him, thus shall it be done to the man whom the king delighted to honor. So he said, let him put on your crown, you know what I'm saying, your ring, your cloak, let him ride your horse all through the streets, so everybody can know that this is the man being honored, man. Verse 10. Then the king said unto Haman, make haste and take the apparel and the horse, as thou hast said, and do even so to Mordecai the Jew, that sitteth at the king's gate. Let nothing fail of all that thou hast spoken. Verse 10. I'm gonna read verse 10 again. And it said, because that's heavy, and this is cut this man so bad. It said, verse 10. Then the king said unto Haman, make haste. He told him, what to make haste mean? Make haste mean hurry up. And so he said, hurry up and take the apparel and the horse, as thou hast said, and do even so to Mordecai the Jew. So everything that he said that he thought he was going to get, the king said, make haste, hurry up and give my crown, give my horse and my cloak to Mordecai the Jew, that sitteth at the king's gate, and let nothing fail of all that thou hast spoken. He said, everything that you said that you want this first person I'm going to honor to get, make sure every single word that you said he do. You understand? Let him ride through the streets with my stuff. You understand? Verse 11. Then took Haman the apparel and the horse, and arrayed Mordecai, and brought him on horseback through the street of the city, and proclaimed before him, thus shall it be done unto the man whom the kings delight to honor. Ooh wee. You see that? And then he rode him through. He rode him through the neighborhood. He rode him through the projects. He rode him through the ghetto. You know what I'm saying? With the king garment on, the king horse, and all that. You understand? He brought it to Mordecai, and you got to remember, he hate Mordecai, so he's pissed off. He pissed off about this, right? So Mordecai got to ride the king horse and do all these great things, right? Verse 12. And Mordecai came again to the king's gate, but Haman hasted to the house mourning and having his head covered. You see that? So he ran back to the house crying, man, having his head covered. And that tell you all about your oppressor. That tell you all about the white man. The white man is a crybaby, man. You understand? The white man is a complete crybaby. Even when you read the story of Jacob and Esau, you understand, when he thought he was supplanted, whatnot, or thought that Jacob stole his birthright, he started crying, man, saying, "What do I get? Your oppressor is a crybaby, man. He's like a child." You understand what I'm saying? So he ran back to the house crying. Verse 13. And Haman turned, and you got to remember too, he had planned to go in there and talk to the king and tell the king that Haman needed to be hanged. I mean, that Mordecai needed to be hanged. And in the midst of that, he ended up being so selfish and so prideful that he think that he was finna get a rank raise. You know what I'm saying? He thought that he was finna go in there and get honored. So he spoke highly on what he should get, thinking it's gonna go to him. And the king said, go give this to Mordecai for saving my life. You understand? He ran home crying after that, man. Can't believe it. All right, verse 13. And Haman told Zereth, his wife, and all his friends everything that had befallen him. Then said his wise men, Zereth and his wife, unto him, if Mordecai be the seed of the Jew, before whom thou hast begun to fall, thou shalt not prevail against him, but shalt surely fall before him. You understand? Let me see, verse 7. Let me see. Okay, you know what? We're gonna save the rest for tomorrow. We're gonna stop at verse 7, and then we're gonna close out the rest of Esther tomorrow on verse 7. You understand? But they said this is the spirit. All this happened because Esther wasn't selfish, man. Esther could have went in there and said, "You know what, King? I know it's somebody plotting on you right now. I took credit for it." And then guess what? If she would have did that, then she wouldn't have. Things would have went totally different. You understand? Things would have went totally different in this story right now. You understand? But being that she told the king that it was Mordecai who found this out, you understand? Haman wasn't able to go in there and say, because this is the thing, if the king would have never read in the Chronicles and he would have never went back and read the little history of what happened with him, he would have never had nobody to honor. You understand? But Esther. And he would have did that immediately. He wouldn't have had Mordecai. I mean, he wouldn't have had Mordecai to honor him. So guess what? Haman would have walked in there and said, "You know what? I got a 75-foot, 75-foot gallows. You know what I'm saying? That I want to hang Mordecai on because he ain't bowing to me." And guess what the king would have did? The king would have hung Mordecai. And guess what? All the Jews would have got murdered. But being that this sister wasn't selfish and she did everything she did for her nation, brothers didn't die. You understand? And this white man plan wasn't able to go through. Yeah, so tomorrow, man, we're gonna finish the feast of Purim. And so make sure y'all tune in. With that being said, I'm gonna end the class. Shalom, Israel. Yahweh Shem Yahshua Brakatah. Yahweh Shem Al Bashem Yahshua, all the sisters.